And here are my tells for cognitive dissonance. Number one, if somebody changes the topic, they're experiencing cognitive dissonance. Now, I was asked for a clarification on this one, because lots of times people will be trying to make a point and it's not getting through, and then it was pointed out to me, sometimes people will say, all right, let me take a different approach. I'm not talking about a different approach, because that's the same topic. Here's what I'm talking about. Oh yeah, your opinion about whatever. I judge that based on your opinion on this different topic. Okay, that's cognitive dissonance, right? If you have to change the whole topic, it's because you had to bow out. You didn't have anything. Ad hominem, this is when you just insult people. So I get this one a lot. If I've won an argument, the next thing I hear is an insult to me personally. It's pretty consistent. So ad hominem means you won. Changing the topic means you won. You can just say, okay, I'll take victory. I'm done. Mind reading. I like to think this is one of my greatest contributions to civilization. Now, I'm sure I'm not the first person to make this observation, that people imagine they know what you're thinking. But I'm trying to popularize it and give it a name so that when we talk about it, we're talking about the same thing. So how many times have you seen me in a debate online, and then somebody will say, well, obviously you believed that scientists are reliable. That's mind reading, and incorrect mind reading, because I don't believe scientists are reliable. In fact, science is the most unreliable of all things. Do you know why? Why is science the most unreliable field? Because if everything works correctly, you're wrong most of the time. If everything's working smoothly, you're wrong most of the time, and then a few things will pass through the peer review, it'll get published, peer review, you'll be able to duplicate it, maybe you don't have a randomized controlled trial yet, but you get one, then you get another one, right? So you're crawling through uncertainty and largely wrong stuff until you get something closer to truth. So science is mostly about being wrong, and then every now and then something awesome happens. A great process, but mostly wrong. So mind reading about what is true in the person's mind is always a tell, and when I see this, I say thank you, and I'm done. Word salad's a little harder to identify because it really looks like it might make sense, but maybe you're not getting the point. The word salad is often related to a change of topic. In other words, the word salad often brings in other topics and mixes them together and puts them in sentences where the sentence appears to make sense from a grammar perspective, but when you look at it as a whole, it's not really saying anything. So you recognize word salad when you see it. This one will be harder to explain. Using an analogy instead of a reason. Analogies are fine if the only way you're using them is to explain a new concept. That's a good use of an analogy. But if you use it instead of a reason, as in this case, we did it this way, so in this unrelated case, which I'm reminded of, we should do it the same way. That's using it as a reason. That's the wrong way to use it. And that's usually a tell for cognitive dissonance, because you don't need an analogy if you have a reason. Here would be an example of somebody who has a reason. Hey, why should I not do this thing? Oh, because it's very risky, because this could break, it's unreliable, and if that breaks, you'll be injured. That's somebody who understands the situation. Here's somebody who doesn't understand why you shouldn't do that thing. All right. Suppose you were on a ship, and the ship captain told you not to lean over the rail. Okay, as soon as you hear that, you know that they don't have a reason. They're using an analogy to try to make you not notice there's no reason. Reasons are easy. Oh, don't do that because it's dangerous. Simple. Oh, it's very much like a spaceship. If you were designing a spaceship, you'd make sure that the O-rings... No. As soon as you go that direction, it means you don't know your own argument. All right. Here's a new one. Insist it is complicated and cannot be summarized. So, if you've seen this lately, it's complicated. It just can't be summarized. Do you know what can't be summarized? Cognitive dissonance. Everything else can be summarized, right? Even if the summary doesn't tell you much, right? So there's nothing I can't summarize. It's easy to summarize. Summarizing is the easiest thing in the world. The only thing you can't summarize is something you don't understand yourself, or it doesn't fit your point. Barnes says, I don't know about that. All right. And then my favorite is the so tell, where somebody starts a sentence with the word so. What usually follows the word so in a debate is them characterizing your opinion incorrectly. Yeah, the Kathy Newman thing. So, and usually the characterization has an absurd absolute. So here's what it would look like in the wild. So you're saying that every person who got COVID had no long COVID. Or, so you're saying that everybody who got the vaccination made the wrong decision. Everybody. Or, so you're saying that everybody who went to Harvard is a liberal idiot. Like everyone. Every person who ever went to Harvard is a liberal idiot. That's what you're saying. Right? So whenever you see the so, look for a mischaracterization of your opinion. Now, why does somebody need to mischaracterize your opinion? It's because they're in cognitive dissonance. They've lost the argument, and they know it on some level, and so they're just creating nonsense in their minds. Yeah. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is the greatest contribution to the world since E = mc². If you understand this, and you start to put this filter on your interactions, your stress level will disappear. Because once you see somebody exhibit one of the 7 tells, and by the way, making it the 7 tells makes it more powerful persuasion. Did you catch that? When you give something a name and you label it, it becomes real in people's minds. Because until it has a name, they can't hang it, they can't store it. It's hard to store a concept. But you wrap a name around it, the 7 tells for cognitive dissonance. Imagine if you said to somebody, oh, that is a tell for cognitive dissonance. It means nothing, right? Just compare these two things. Oh, that thing you did, that's a tell for cognitive dissonance. Really? Is it? I don't think so. Now compare that to, oh, that's one of the 7. That's number 3 on the 7 tells for cognitive dissonance. Now, how does that feel? Completely different, doesn't it? Just because there's 7 makes you think, oh my God, that's a real thing. There's 7 of them. It must be like everybody knows the 7 tells for cognitive dissonance, but I don't. Oh no, I better figure out what that means. Completely different persuasion just by saying it's one of the 7 tells. 7 cognitive sins. I like tells better, but I like where you're going with that. All right. Now, I'm going to say it again, without any hyperbole whatsoever. This is one of the greatest things that humanity has ever experienced. If you understand these 7 tells, the whole world looks different. And all the people that you think are just annoyingly not getting your argument, you can just say, oh, I won the argument already. You did this one. Oh, I won the argument. You did that. And just walk away. Yeah, we all have our blind spots. So if you're looking for my blind spots, look in the same place. Right? Use this standard to evaluate me, and you will absolutely, sooner or later, you'll find me experiencing cognitive dissonance. All right.